trying to put a dollar figure on the cost of illegal immigration. She has our top story this half hour.
It's a common sight in a lot of New Jersey towns. Day laborers gathered at a corner looking for work. For many, it's a sight they don't mind seeing.
Most people don't want to do the work that they will be willing to do.
But with more undocumented immigrants moving to the Garden State, issues other than just crowding the streets are popping up.
Local taxpayers have had to foot the bill for residents coming into our communities and going to schools, to those who actually get fixed in hospitals for free.
Michael Wilds is the mayor of Englewood and an immigration attorney. Since he's been on both sides of the immigration debate, he's been tapped as the chairman of a task force that will survey every New Jersey town and city and come up with a plan of action.
We're working on the survey right now. The survey is going to be sent to all the mayors and administrators throughout the state, such that we can cull out and get recon, so to say, as to what's out there.
The survey will touch on topics like health and safety issues, the cost of providing law enforcement education, and other services. Mayor Wild says just last August, 2 people died from a fire in an illegal basement apartment in Englewood. That is the kind of overcrowded housing illegal immigrants can afford.
The 2 people that died are an example of what this state faces when there is no action from Trenton or Washington, and it is necessary for this to be addressed.
That is News 12 New Jersey's Alice Gaynor reporting. Wildes says the ultimate goal of the task force is to preserve the dignity of these illegal immigrants while they are here in the U.S., but also to make sure that we act judiciously. Right now, let's check our local forecast. It is pretty warm outside, Dave Curran. I couldn't
impacting communities. A task force has been set up to examine the issue, but some advocates question its motives. Desiree Taylor reports.
Advocates estimate there are more than 300,000 undocumented immigrants in New Jersey. The Federation for American Immigration Reform says this influx has contributed to overcrowding in schools, a lack of affordable housing, and the need for bilingual programs and other costly services.
The state has seen huge spikes throughout all 21 counties. They all present with the same health and education fallout, and it's something that we need to address financially.
Michael Wilds is leading a New Jersey League of Municipalities task force charged with examining this issue. He's also an immigration lawyer, so he believes he understands their plight. But with taxes soaring and little help from the federal government, he says it's up to municipal officials to find solutions. That's why several municipalities have enacted or are considering ordinances that address loitering, targeting day laborers, and stacking or overcrowded housing.
The front line are the mayors and the police officers and the firemen and the teachers who have to make sure that they're protected, they're healthy, and they're educated. Well, how do you deal with this? And these are the trusts that we're going to be looking at.
The Federation for American Immigration Reform says it costs New Jersey taxpayers more than $2 billion annually to provide education, medical care, and to incarcerate undocumented immigrants. But advocates say there's a misconception that undocumented immigrants simply drain resources and don't give much back in return. And they say that simply isn't true.
They do pay sales taxes, they pay gas taxes, they pay tolls on our highways, they pay real estate taxes.
Huega doesn't criticize the task force for wanting to know more about how undocumented immigrants impact municipalities, as long as it does it objectively and with compassion. Advocate Amy Gottlieb agrees. At a recent rally protesting proposed higher fees for naturalization services, she said there has been a growing hostile climate towards immigrants, and she fears the task force will only fuel that hostility further.
There's the overall issue of immigrants being scapegoated and criminalized, and sort of every problem that there is right now is blamed on immigrants, and we are particularly concerned about that.
This mayor, this immigration lawyer, this American is not intending at all on coming out against immigrants.
Advocates have been pushing for a host of protections for undocumented immigrants, including safe havens or communities where police won't ask about a person's immigration status unless investigating illegal activity. Meantime, rallies across the country have demonstrated the issue of immigration is a pressing concern, but local officials and advocates are still waiting for federal lawmakers to take action. Desiree Taylor, NJN News, Newark.
West New York in Hudson County has its...
In the Bronx, Canal